Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. We are hanging on by a thread here, but we've reached Safe Harbor, and hopefully they can put us back together a little bit. So let's spend a quiet day in Port Avon. There's a number of ways here in town for us to lower our terror level, we know that, and we really could use it. The meter describes us as untroubled, but that's not exactly the word I would use. Alright, let's just spend a quiet day here. The Sharmans have a surplus of fuel and nowhere to store it. They'll give you 2 fuel for 20 sovereigns. That is the normal price for fuel? Oh, but I think the shops don't always have access to stuff. Yeah, you know what? I'll do that. Because fuel's usually 10 each, right? But that's only true in the places where you can actually buy it. Yeah, that was pretty worthwhile. The oily-faced girl from the docks helps roll the barrels onto the engine and into the cargo hold ready for use. This is a good find. Are we able to buy... Oh no, fuel is 20 each, supplies are 40. I was thinking it was 10-20. Well, we definitely have to buy supplies, we know that. I'm gonna buy 3 crates of supplies. I think we can afford to do this. I don't remember how much souls sell for. I want to say that it was 70. And then, at the bazaar, are they looking for anything in particular? Okay, that's interesting. They have souls at a lower price. We may take those on before we leave. We'll see, or at least a couple of them. We'll see how things work out here. Just in case we encounter any other cargo we'd like to pick up first. We didn't have money last time. We tried to recruit this guy, but I think we might be able to, take somebody on board now. His eyes are, I didn't mean to pull up that many there. His eyes are a little menacingly yellow. That's weird. He's looking for passage. He claims to be useful, and he doesn't ask where you're headed. Well, so he's a signaler. We don't have one of those, right? No, we do not. Okay. Veils by 6, iron by 2. We could use more iron upgrades. And your affiliation academe by 1. I mean, that's a thing I care about. Probably. He has very little luggage. A single satchel of books and a folded greatcoat appear to be his only personal effects. His manner is calm, almost pedantic, as he negotiates his duties and his pay. But you have a sense that he urgently wants to be out of Port Avon. Well, okay, we're not leaving just yet, buddy. Cool down. But let's remember to place him before we leave. So we are now showing an iron level of 23. If we could find another little boost like that, we wouldn't have to spend our next level up on it. I don't know. We'll see. So we could increase our welcome. Oh, we definitely want to write a port report since we're here. There's another 100 sovereigns for us. Were it not for talk of smugglers and sky beasts, you could easily confuse this place for a village on the world you left behind. Yet there's some fuss over the newspaper delivery. We still haven't actually seen if there's a real story there or not. I don't think we currently need to increase our welcome, right? I think we're cool. Yeah. So let's, first of all, go to the inn. Because I want to have a chat with the Somerset Hunting Club. The new Somerset Hunting Club, sorry. Okay, let's deliver a Cantankerous trophy. Wow, they would take a Scribe Spinster. That's the, that terrifying ghost monster that we saw. Alright, let's see if they like this. The stout veteran pokes it. What a horrible creature. He twiddles his bushy mustache. A perfect centerpiece. Jenkins, fetch the hoist. Okay, 50 experience, 100 sovereigns. We're doing all right on cash. Not all right enough to hire a new locomotive or anything, but all right. So now may I join? Or do I have to get all of the trophies? Our sort of people. A stout veteran gives you a polite once-over. I suppose we could countenance an application. Of course, membership is not a matter of mere money, no. Okay, perhaps if you could help decorate our walls. So yeah, we're gonna have to get all of the trophies. Alright, fair enough. Well, we certainly know where we can find some chorister bees and some scribe spinsters. Alright, is there anything else to do at the inn right now? We could try to appreciate an amount of cider. Something tells me that the amount of cider that we'd be able to appreciate would be very small. Or we could let's just read a little bit. I can't remember. What did this do? In the nook by the fireplace is a shelf of magazines. Each contains a story by the local author, the Turbulent Fabulist. You know what? Maybe we didn't do this before. The fabulist's work has been accepted in a number of publications, including Murgatroyd's Miscellany. Miscellany? Yeah, that's a word I've never heard anybody say, and I don't know where the stress goes. Hearth and Heaven, and The Seasonal. Ooh, The Seasonal. Very swanky. He is prodigious. Which story catches your eye? The Eyes of Heaven, Bones in the Well. I wonder if we could get... Because this sounds like it maybe would give a Sky story, and this sounds like it maybe would give a Tale of Terror. I want to read something scary, right? Ooh, A Corpse at the Window. Being a sinister tale of familial duty and intimate horror. The Parson's Cookpot, a darkly comic tale of domestic misbehavior and unusual appetites. Bit of Sweeney Todd action going on there, I guess. Let's try Bones in the Well, a macabre tale of one soul's descent into solitude and madness. On the third day it rained. The sky was a grey, drizzly circle in the well's mouth far above. The rubble underfoot has darkened, then swam with mud. Darkened, then swam with mud. Perhaps he would drown today, Joseph thought. Slow way to die, he remarked to the skeleton that shared the well with him. Raindrops tip-tapped on its skull. The skeleton was a good listener. Joseph had already shared all his secrets with it. All, that is, except one. Now, holding on to that last secret seemed pointless. After all, he was likely to drown before dinner time. He cleared his throat. It was I who pushed you, he confessed. Okay, so we're wearing out our welcome, but actually reading scary stories has reduced our terror, and we gained a tale of terror. Okay, we're gonna hang out and read a whole bunch. Let's see. We could just read the same story over and over again, and maybe that would keep working, but there's also some chance that I wouldn't get a new tale of terror because we already know this tale, right? So let's try, like, A Corpse at the Window. This is probably also spooky. Yep, it's totally working. Amelia looked through the glass. Her sister had returned. In one hand she held a necklace of muddy diamonds dug from a doyen's grave. From the other dangled the corpse of a doe. Around Catherine's stretched throat Amelia could still see the rope marks, white and neat as a vicar's collar. I am slowly wearing out my welcome. So is that... It's removing, like... Okay, I think the first... They may have removed 4% each. That's helpful. I would like to read more speculative fiction until they kick me out. A satirical tale, that's probably not that spooky. The Vacant Throne, not that spooky. So none of the other ones are, like, explicitly terrifying. If I read Bones in the Well again, do I get another tale of terror? Okay, I totally do. I'm no longer welcome, but we can go back to the dock and exchange gossip, right? I believe that is the case. Yeah, and we got all this gossip from all of the ledgers that we read on the pirate ships. This is awesome, actually. Okay, so we're back up to 2 welcome. I mean, we may as well increase our welcome one more time while we're here. So how many sky... That's the only 2 Tales of Terror I've ever gotten, right? Where is the... There was a place where it shows these things. Also, sometimes the tooltips do not want to go away. Possessions in the hold. This is what I wanted. So we need 7 Sky stories and 7 Tales of Terror. We have 6 Sky stories. Okay, and we did have 1 other Tale of Terror, as we should. Honestly, that thing we did with the fungus train should have gotten us a whole bunch, in my opinion. But we now have enough welcome to just get 4 more Tales of Terror, and maybe this is kind of a lame way to get them, because it only sort of makes sense, but I'm doing it. We're definitely doing it. And in fact, this probably is a Sky story, right? Yep. They burned the charts. For what use were they now? The incorrigible thundered through an empty, unnamed heaven, blown with a frost wind. Ahead, a new sun blazed, the size of a penny through the forward windows. There was a long way to go. I mean, I'm saying it does feel kind of lame, but to be fair... Oh. Hey now. We can recruit a likely lass or lad. They are young, inquisitive, and sick to the back teeth of Port Avon. Perhaps they can be encouraged to sign on. The less traditional Port Avon is, the easier this will be. Is it getting less traditional? Am I doing that? Is it me hanging out reading that's making it less traditional? So we'll gain crew at a cost of only 10. And we're likely to do... Okay, yeah, sure. It's a nice, cheap crew. Port Avon's been very good to us this visit. They don't even ask for an advance. They sneak from their home that night with a bag of personal effects and meet you aboard your engine. You put them to work. Alright, let's, we're gonna have to go back to the port and do one more gossip here, so let's go ahead and just do it now. Alright, you make for the Nowhere, the local pub, where you can be sure of an audience. Ears bend to overhear your conversation about a London scandal. One resident even buys you a drink. An unquestionable honor. Alright, so let's go get 4 more Tales of Terror. And then we still have, we still have gossip, so we'll trade some more gossip and lower our terror. This place has been very, very kind to us. Alright, read a work of fiction. We're just going to read The Bones in the Well 4 more times. You know, every time it hits you like the first time. It's really an incredible piece of writing. And then, I don't know, do we have to go back to New Winchester to move our ambition forward? I mean, like, it sort of makes sense. I'm gonna hit this one more time, I guess. May as well, right? That sort of makes sense, right? You read and you get a bunch of inspiration, and then you use that inspiration to write. We're gonna have to trade another gossip here. We're probably gonna end up trading all of our gossip here at Port Avon for welcome, because we're making really good use of it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and give the last piece now. And we did earn all of this gossip, right? It's not like we're exploiting or anything here. These are the rewards for all that fighting we did. Okay, terror has reduced, and we've gained a Tale of Terror. We're down to 46%. Let's go back to the green and watch some cricket, I guess? We could visit the allotments. In the fenced plots across Port Avon, grizzled horticulturalists tame the rampant vegetation of the Reach. And we are guaranteed to get whatever the good outcome is here, thanks to all of those eyeballs we've gained. An intriguing specimen. The contents of the allotments are unlike familiar vegetables, but it helps to look for the similarities. That bulbous squash is too lumpen, too spotty, too purple to be a marrow, but it is more like a marrow than it is like a cucumber. The little fruits clumped on the serpentine vines are certainly not cherries. Cherries are not hairy, but they are closer to cherries than they are to, say, kiwi fruit, or otters. Call it a marrow, then. Call them cherries. It helps, somehow. The gardener, mistaking your cognitive reshuffle for hunger, offers you a handful of freshly dug, tapered, tiger-striped roots. Let's call them carrots. Yeah, that's a very British way to regard an unfamiliar thing. This is close to a cherry. I'm going to say it's a cherry. Alright, let's just take a relaxing stroll around the village. What sort of place is Port Avon now? Above, a golden nebula is fierce in the sky. Amber light dapples the curving lanes. Locals nod to you cautiously as you pass. A light drizzle of silver rain brushes the village. Its beads are bright and tiny as pinheads. Terror down. That wasn't actually better than reading. I think it was the same amount of terror reduction, and we didn't get anything out of it. Anything additional. We could sit with the eelfishers. Let's try that. They line the straight stony edge of a block that juts into the sky, their rods hanging over the edge. Colonies of pardoner eels, smoky as sardines, breed on the underside of the port. You watch as the fishers snag their wriggling prey, heave them onto the rock, and put an end to their thrashing with eel mallets. Specialized eel mallets. The catches are infrequent, though, and aside from those occasional struggles, always swiftly ended by a meaty thwack, you can sit back, enjoy the starlight, and make conversation. We're no longer welcome in Port Avon, but that was a little bit more terror reduction. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, like in a whole bunch of ways. This was just absolutely wonderful. Okay, so yeah, let's leave. Oh wait, before we pull out of the dock, we can trade out that gun, right? Let's install our Marauder Mangonel. It does seem very good. So it's 50 heat. It's almost twice as much heat, but for more than twice as much damage at the same range. I just need to be more careful about only firing it when I'm sure we will hit. To be fair, it's not like I ever fired these when I was like, yeah, this will probably miss, but whatever. So, in that sense, what I'm trying to say is, be prepared. I'm still going to miss a whole bunch. Where are we going now? What is my deal? Oh, yes, somebody pointed out in the comments, Trader's Wood is already on my map. Apparently at some point we got close enough to it to get it lit up on the map. So let's head down there, because we definitely want to get Captain What's-His-Face off of my ship. I know it's a train, but something about the way this game is, something about the way the environment is designed or something, puts me in a real Firefly sort of state of mind. An incident with the repentant devil. You know, I was just thinking maybe we should stop and talk to him. Your newly acquired repentant devil is standing most unrepentantly over a body in the hallway. Inspect the deceased. You don't recognize him. But he is one of our crew? No, maybe he's not. You haven't seen this person before. One of your crew? But the deceased is no one you know, a stranger on your locomotive. Peculiar luggage you brought on board, says one of the crew, and some others have gathered. Wouldn't have thought it would fit in your little bag. First, clean up. It won't do to leave a body in the hall. Then your repentant devil can explain himself. He's still got blood on his cuffs. He's killed someone on board your locomotive, and it probably wasn't someone that was on here with my consent, so I need to understand why. Yeah, it definitely wasn't crew. We didn't lose crew. He looks younger than most devils, but he is significantly older. His gaze is blank and yellow, a wall against speculation. He grooms his sideburns artfully, and knows how to be tactful with less seasoned members of the crew. Oh, I forgot about buying those souls. Yeah. Okay. Well, officers who generate corpses on my locomotive are generally a liability, unless that guy... I mean, there's some chance that guy on our locomotive was a liability, right? Whoa. Whoa. Okay, that was... Oh, that's the level up sound. It's just... It was sudden and loud. That was a lot of XP, actually. He was a stowaway, explains the devil indifferently. He's been stalking me for more than a month. I thought I'd lost him when I came aboard. Then he turned up in my quarters. From the body, he has lifted a clinking bag of souls. Boy, there are some elements of this game that I'm just never going to get used to, huh? Perhaps he was sent to bribe me rather than to kill me. He tilts his head to consider the soul collection. Apparently thinks I'm a cheap hire, if so. The devil's gaze reverts to you. I regret to say this is probably not the last time this happens. I may be destined to attract negative attention. Well, he killed someone, but it's... I mean, I hesitate to say this about a murder, but it feels like it wasn't a big deal. I'm okay with it, I think. While we're talking, do you want to tell me something about the state of my soul? I had a look at it, and it seems like pretty grim news. He smiles blandly. It is not worth much in its present condition, he says plainly. Too flawed. I could cure you of all that if I had time and if I cared, and if it were not just as easy to take any of a dozen other innocent souls in a better state of repair. If you want it improved, you might, I suppose, try your luck at Carillon. Okay, that's an interesting thing to say. Do you maybe want to give me more words about No? Alright, well. Okay, so like I said, I'm thinking we're gonna take a trait here that gives us a little bit of iron. I feel a little bad trying to make a choice about our character's past for entirely mechanical reasons, but it really would be helpful if we had just a little bit more iron. So, you know, I think it's reasonable that we played some part in the blockade of New Winchester. That's a thing that could have happened. Under the old captain, perhaps. You fought in the greatest battle of the Winchester War, when the regional governor, appointed by Her Majesty, was driven from the Reach. The independent Tacketies besieged the port. The loyalist stovepipes hoped to hold out until reinforcements, led by the Imperial dreadnought Her Majesty's Displeasure, could arrive. Which side did you fight on? Well, you know which side we fought on. I love this name for a dreadnought, though. That's extremely good. I was part of the blockade, hunting for engines trying to supply the defenders, and scouting for the inevitable reinforcements from London. Turns out London and I don't get along that well. Alright, so that gave us... Sorry, I like totally spaced on what the secondary stat we gained there was. Whatever, that was the right decision for a bunch of reasons. And now we have enough iron to get those canning tools, which we absolutely will get when we head back. Yeah, maybe I was... It looks like if I came down this far, I didn't go much further. Well, I guess let's have a look around. We certainly have some time now. I do sort of wish I'd gotten the hull repaired. Canning tools. We don't have the money to go back and get them right now anyway. Actually, maybe we do, though. Hold on. Let's go back to New Winchester real quick. Because with all of the port reports that we have, we might actually be able to afford those tools right now. And we also can sell off our seeds that we bought. Boy, it is a little further than I remembered it being. Yeah, let's do it, though. I want those canning tools. I think we can get them. We probably can't afford much else. Oh, we also will get to sell off our other Jerusalem cannon. So that'll be a little bit of money on top. I suppose what I'm doing right now is keeping Percy Blythe in my hold for longer than I absolutely have to. I suppose that could be a mistake. I'm not really sure if there are things in the game that trigger based on the passage of time. You know, we're still sort of like new to the mechanics. I'm choosing to hope that there won't be a major penalty for keeping Percy in the hold. Okay, so we want to go east a little bit, and then I don't think we've seen an assaying glass, but we should have a look at the stuff in the store, make sure that's actually true. Clamor of New Winchester can be heard on the wind. From quite a distance away, it turns out. Oh, tackety. I was all excited there. I was going to try out my new weapon. So I guess from the numbers, we could start trying to develop an idea of how much health our enemies generally have. Trying to think, with the Reach Marauders, has it been, what, like 3 volleys of both of the Jerusalem cannons? Putting them somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 health? I guess I don't remember very well. We'll try to pay more attention now, although the spread shot is going to complicate that a little bit, because we'll never know exactly how much damage we're dealing. I'm not going to be able to keep track of the number of projectiles that hit. I guess we can know when we get a full volley in, though. Well, alright, that's not exactly how I meant to do that, but it'll have to do. Recent news. Propaganda at Carillon. Wolvesey Station is abuzz with rumors of bad business at Carillon. Oh yeah? Might we know where that is? Would somebody like to tell me? Allegedly, devils have been proselytizing against the Tacites to the guests, some of whom are very influential indeed. Okay, so like devils, this is not devil in the colloquial English usage. Is this like an actual group? We're gonna have to find some things out here. The Windward Company have issued a carefully worded denial of any collusion. The Indurate veteran has put out a request for information. She refuses to go near the place herself. Okay, I can handle that. Let's investigate. You learn several profitable bits of information. The staff at Carillon are apparently colluding with the Windward Company. You'll learn nothing further without going to Carillon. So, okay, I would love to do that, and we traded our Savage Secret for some other people's secrets. That seems like a fine use of it. Alright, we have reports. 300 sovereigns. It's not quite going to get us to canning tools. Oh, you know what? Canning tools might not have been that... They might have been 800. Yeah, that might be fine. Okay, we could trade some favor for a Savage Secret. We are without one now. Yeah, let's do that in case we encounter a situation that can only be resolved with such a secret. So I've been, like, thinking of New Winchester as sort of an extension of London. But if the Tacites are allowed to have their home base so nearby, I guess it must be more neutral now since the blockade? We could try to recruit a fortunate navigator. You hold on, sir. Don't go anywhere. Here at Abraham's Engineering, the advanced canning tools are $880. Okay, so I'm going to sell my old cannon. We're going to visit the bazaar. Sorry, this isn't what I want. We're going to visit the market. We do want to go to the bazaar. But I want to sell off these. And I think we only need one gourd of chorister nectar, right? Is that true? That's not the button I want. Here we go. Yeah, you want to go to Hybris, you want to go to Lustrum. We're still hunting for the hunting club. They want chorister nectar. I don't think we needed a second one. We got a lot of people on board who just want to get off the train. We still have to get pus from Hybris for that researcher. Okay, yeah, so we can afford to sell one of these as well. Certainly not selling fuel or supplies. So yeah, souls do sell for 70. Buying those souls at 70 would not have been useful, but buying the discounted ones at 55 would have turned a small profit. I'm trying to remember what these all are for in case we encounter them in the wild. Okay, so we definitely want to go to Abraham's Engineering and get ourselves a Durandal pressure canning system. +1 butchery, +4 hold. What a lovely combination of things. Let's make sure that we install that. Alright, and then let's have a quick look at the engine yard. We're not close to changing out the train. I'm just kind of curious, like... So we could gain an extra bridge slot with this one. We'd drop one of our light weapons for a heavy weapon. This is just an extra support slot. It's like very, very good in general. A little bit less room for crew, but that's not a big deal. I'm noticing that there isn't a stat that represents speed. So they're all the same speed, I was told. This Moloch class liner is looking very similar to the Parsifal. Okay, so it looks like none of the... In general, we're going to get to keep almost anything we buy. There's one train that's missing one type of slot relative to our own. And then, of course, there are different weapon loadouts. But basically, I don't have to worry about buying a module and then having to get rid of it later or not having room for it later. Alright, so we have a little bit more shopping to do. We're at 215 sovereigns. That's enough to lay out like another couple of things of fuel. I'm just figuring hiring that guy, that navigator, is probably going to be expensive. So, munitions for Port Prosper's parsimonious chairman. Deliver up to 3 carefully packed crates of munitions, and up to 5 barrels of unseasoned hours delivered to the circus. I'll take both of these on. So these are currently our 4 ambitions. We're allowed to have up to 4 prospects. I definitely want at least one more crate of fuel. We're probably not going too terribly far before we're going to get the ability to resupply. So that leaves us with a fair amount of money to work with here. 195. Do we have... We have a quartermaster slot open. So he's a first officer. He would replace our princess. Affiliation establishment. I don't think we want him. Yeah, I think the first of all, I'm very curious where the story with the princess is going. We're going to need more Tales of Terror and Sky Stories and stuff to move her story forward. But obviously, we're going to start with our... that's not what I wanted. We're going to start with our ambition. You've amassed a collection of tales that linger after the telling. This is the first step in your ambition, the Song of the Sky. You sit at your desk. The blank page yawns before you like an abyss. That's a true tale of terror. Memories crawl from the depths, the spiteful howl of the sky winds, the honey roar of a well-kept engine, the darkness, the stars, all that other stuff that other people wrote. Before you can truly begin the Song of the Sky, you must make a decision. Are you writing about a fictional character, merely drawing inspiration from your own experiences, or are you writing an explicit memoir? I think maybe fiction? This allows you more scope, more flexibility, a more poetic attitude to the truth, and avoids any self-incrimination. Remember, we're not well loved by the establishment. Maybe it would be best to not explicitly admit to any crimes in the writing. You spend a few moments assembling a name, a face. The conceit of the text shall be that you are simply relaying the dizzying stories of a mysterious sky captain of your recent acquaintance. Of course, even an unsophisticated reader will be able to spot the truth. Yeah, but this is enough of a fig leaf of me not being responsible for the deeds therein. At first, each word must be individually wrestled from your recalcitrant mind, and somewhere between brain and paper they lose their luster. Finally, just as the mountain of crumpled paper beside your desk has reached your knees, you strike something. A match, a vein, a melancholy chord. You write until you need to sleep. Then you sleep until you need to write. When you resurface, the first canto is complete. What now? You've not nearly finished the song, not yet, but perhaps you've written enough to show to a publisher. You've written only a fraction, but if you're lucky, it'll be enough to secure a book deal. That seems like a bold hope. The reputable publishing houses of New Winchester are crammed into Smoghorn Street, where the roaring presses give the impression of a nearby sea. Your first pitch begins swimmingly. "Remarkable," murmurs the editor. "Effortlessly lyrical, mythological in ambition." When you ask after a deal, however, he shakes his head. "Oh, no, it won't make a penny." You work your way down the street, your increasingly bedraggled manuscript clutched close to your chest. Finally, you catch an editrix just as she leaves for the day. "I won't publish this," she says, flipping through the pages. "But I know someone who might." She jots an address on the back of your manuscript. Okay, hey, that's a start. It's a crooked house in an unsavory part of town. As you open the door, you are buffeted by cigarette fumes. A man appears amid the smoke, his hand slithering into yours. "You're the one who's been terrorizing Smoghorn Street, says the omnivorous publisher, his grin encompassing his face. "Let me see. I really like the way they name characters in this game." He snatches the manuscript. "Excellent," he says, breathing twin plumes of appreciative smoke as he reads. "I'd like to offer you a deal." Negotiate a contract. The publisher sits at his desk and you almost lose sight of him behind the swamp of paperwork, books thick with bookmarks, and overflowing ashtrays. Success on this challenge will net you a larger advance. Hey, that sounds pretty good, and it turns out we're pretty good at securing advances. After long hours of negotiation, during which you inhale enough secondhand cigarette smoke to poison a cat, you work out a suitable advance. The omnivorous publisher agrees to publish your work serially, canto by canto. He hauls a tarpaulin aside with a flourish to reveal a slumbering behemoth of a printing press. "Tomorrow the song will be the talk of the town," he assures you. His prophecy doesn't come true. The first canto is a brief sensation, the subject of a few days' dinner-party conversation among literary circles, but it soon sinks into obscurity as the next curiosity comes along. Perhaps the publisher might help you make a success of the second. Honestly, I'd be pretty happy with this thing. Okay, so we must perform a momentous exploit and then write about it in the second canto of the Song of the Sky. So, you need momentous exploit. Well, interesting that the thing with the Parsifal doesn't count. First canto was a quiet success, quickly forgotten. That's not good enough. Publisher's office, which you suspect is also his house, is even more dilapidated than when you first visited. The doorknob comes off in your hand. If you want to make the second canto an extraordinary success, write about something extraordinary, says the publisher, jabbing his cigarette into his desk for emphasis. Something that no one will be able to ignore. Okay, alright, we'll figure something out. Yes, here we go. I did discover the fate of the Parsifal. I was going to say, if this didn't count, it would be very strange. Publisher leans back amid a halo of smoke. Imagine I'm the average man on the street, by which I mean a Philistine of the lowest order. What have you done lately to capture my attention? Well, I did discover one of the great legendary wrecks of the sky. The publisher is silent for a long time once you finish telling your tale. He blinks a few times. Even his cigarette has extinguished. "Stunning," he says finally. "Make sure you write it exactly like that." That's true, my deeds are worth publishing. I've accomplished something so remarkable, so singular, it can't be perfectly translated into words. Hey, listen, it always transforms in the writing. You sit at your desk. You stand, you pace, you sit again. You stare from the window. Where to begin? You remember the look in the publisher's vaguely reptilian eyes when you first told him this story. A mix of disbelief, awe, and half-concealed greed. He'd been a kinder audience than the blank page. I mean, I don't know if there is a worse audience than the blank page. You begin to type, remembering how you worded your story in that first telling. Soon the typewriter is clacking and rigging merrily. The story stirs in your mind like some disturbed undersea monster, unspooling its tendrils before rushing, Leviathan-like, to the surface. I wonder what our crew thinks of all this, because they're just kind of hanging out in town. I guess probably they're paid by the month, not by the deed, so this is just sort of like paid time off. They're probably fine with it, actually. Hold on, let me readjust something over here. Okay. A pause in your fevered typing. Before you write any further, you must make a decision. There are many ways to tell a tale. Are you writing dry journalism with a hint of dark humor? A page-turner with bounding, scintillating prose? Or yearning verse tinged with melancholy? Yeah, that's very interesting. I think I view this character as sort of a prose. I don't think it's journalism. We're not going to be writing it as though it is a straight retelling, right? I'm thinking Melville more than anything. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not clicking poetry here just because I've never been any good at writing or understanding poetry. Yeah, prose. Prose will work. A dizzying tumult. Your aim is simple, to devour the reader whole, and to only regurgitate them when you are sure you are done with them. I'm pretty much just picking the kind of book I would want to read. Words spit like lightning from your fingertips. The typewriter shudders and clanks in protest under the strain. You write in a kind of fury, your mind's eye raging with images of gloating stars and endless burning emptiness. And then you sit back, exhausted, as you realize you've run out of words. The second canto is complete. When you take the second canto to the omnivorous publisher, he flashes a goblin-like grin. "We're gonna set this city on fire," he declares with convincing menace. And then you're gonna publish my thing, right? The next day, copies of the first and second cantos are being ruthlessly hawked by bookstalls and enterprising penny vendors across the city. "The extraordinary tale of a local sky captain who discovered the lost Parzival," declares one salesman, waving copies of your pamphlet in the air like a holy text. Yep, that's what you do with them. "A voyage beyond imagining," shouts another with relish. "Those who read the Song of the Sky shall not leave unscathed." The second canto is quickly the subject of fevered gossip and speculation. Could it all be true? The newspapers deign to review it and throw around words like astonishing to describe both your exploits and your prose. Hey, this is going pretty alright. The Song of the Sky looms in your mind, an unfinished monument. The second canto caught the public's eye. The third must somehow live up to its predecessor. So, we would need three visions of the heavens, which we have, and 3 savage secrets, which we know how to get. Okay, so we basically just need to fly around, get port reports, bring them back to the Tackities, and then trade our favor for 2 more secrets, which means we're going to need 3 more points of favor, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that just means 3 port reports. We also have other stuff to do, obviously. We got to keep making money. Okay, but we're killing it on our personal ambition. We still haven't done the London part. Listen, we'll deal with Captain Amelia's mysterious object. We know about Mr. Menagerie. We don't need to hire on crew. We do want to repair our locomotive. Yes, we can absolutely afford a full repair. Good as new. Okay, well, I'm feeling very positive about our adventure so far. So is there anything else we wanted to do before we leave? I don't want to store anything. I think we want to keep on us all of the stuff that we have on us. I actually probably want to just buy some more supplies. We certainly have room for more supplies. Yeah, okay. We are prepared for a long trip. We have 150 sovereigns, so we're not like totally broke. If cool stuff catches our eye, we can afford to purchase it. We have great new weapons. We have the ability to can things. We have extra hold. On the whole, this is going very well. So we need to find 5 literature, 4 more panes of glass, And 3 carefully packed crates of munitions, and 5 more barrels of unseasoned hours. Okay. See, it's still showing something new here. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking at to clear the exclamation point. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's get back to what we were doing. Head out to the Trader's Wood. Don't you dare run into me. We want to go around this thing. So it seems like once we were up to full speed, the Tackety was about as fast as we were. Maybe it's just all trains go the same speed. Oh, and we lost a bunch of terror for going back to New Winchester. That won't happen every time we go back. There's some cooldown on it, but I'm feeling like we're in great shape right now. Maybe the best shape we've ever been in. And to be perfectly honest, at this point, I wish we would run into some marauders, because first of all, I could use the treasure, and secondly, I really want to try our cool new weapon. It is probably the case that heavy weapons are very good. Okay, around the north side of this. But I'm pretty happy with our 2 light weapons. I might not want to buy a locomotive that would require us to switch over to a heavy. I don't know, we'll see. The more I look at those things in the engine yard, the more I'm thinking that 3500 Sovereign engine might be a better move. We're doing just fine with the spatchcock here, but of course it's good to have ambition. Except when it drives you mad. But something tells me that if anything out here drives us mad, it won't be our ambition. I guess we can probably just swing by New... Oh, I don't have anything to give them to increase our welcome. Can I write a port report without doing that? Because we may well be able to grab another report already. Let's see. Hey, look at that. I didn't even slam into the side of the dock. I'm getting okay at this. Okay, nope. The locals are in fact not willing to update us on the news. Okay. That's fine. We'll come back. We'll get some gossip for you. You know, I am a professional writer. I suppose I'm not really making up the exploits of the stories, though. I was just thinking, shouldn't I be able to sort of invent a tale that would work? My writing is only sort of fiction. This music right here. This music is why it feels like Firefly, I think, to me. Also because whenever I'm playing a space game, it just feels like Firefly. That's probably more stuff that I'm bringing than stuff that's actually in the game. I don't know why this is bugging me. I wish I could get this to dismiss. Alright, those eels were around here, but it looks like they don't stick around. Alright, well, we're ready. Should we encounter more? So Percy said... I was going to say, we've definitely been out here. Percy said he was just going to Trader's Wood. Presumably there must be, like, something inhabited in the Trader's Wood. I guess when we get back to the crossroads, we can send out the bat. Yeah, this will probably do. Okay. Wow. He has a greater range than I thought. So we're sort of getting... I guess the Trader's Wood is just a name for a very large area. Maybe it was Port... No, we were pretty thorough in Port Avon, I feel like. You know what? We didn't check the ruins. Maybe I was supposed to have brought him to the ruins. Well, we'll need to re-earn their welcome. Which probably is going to mean exploring until we find some stuff that we can trade for welcome. Or at least until we find a pirate vessel that might have some more scandalous information on it. Ominously quiet out here. Incautious driver. I came here once. Don't remember why. A king? His cup? Oh, that's right, we are still trying to find the well that the incautious driver was talking about. What is this? Maybe this is where all of us want to go. A new port. Some kind of camp. I can't see the text. Somerset camp. Okay, well. Ow. How much damage was that? 2? That's a shame. Just when I thought I was getting good at this. Trader's Wood is a sprawling, secluded forest on the edge of the Reach. Few venture beneath its gloomy boughs, and legend speaks of a king who sleeps under the barrow at the wood's heart. Okay, I think this is in fact where we were going. The wood is vast as a felled giant, and fathomless as a great ocean. Like the ocean, much of it is hidden from view. Careful expeditions are required to go deeper into the wood. The forest is rich and wild in the verdant species of the Reach. Exploring the starlight-dappled edges of the wood could be profitable. You may only perform one of these actions a fortnight. The wood guards its secrets. So we're not very good at hunting. We could slumber in the wood and perhaps get a vision, but we don't need such a vision. So, okay, we're going to see this whenever there's a time-limited thing then, I guess. Or we could attempt to get some verdant seeds. We certainly have room in the hold for them. 61%? Yeah, I'll go for that. The flora that grow in the shadow of the Regent's grave are unique to this corner of the high wilderness. Herbs of Heaven. By a lake gray as the eye of a storm, you find a promising patch of herbs, green and gold and wonderful. Your crew help you gather those that seem the least familiar, for surely those will fetch the highest price. Deeper in the wood, where the light is almost drowned by the thirsty silverwood trees, you find flowers of every hue of Navarentine. You gather what you can. Really? It was only 1 sack? Well, alright, I mean, hey, that's 40 sovereigns. I can't complain too loudly. They have shops here. Okay, well, we could just buy some tea. Oh, we only have access to this because of our affiliation. A disheveled research associate sells caddies of dried tea from an oak chest. Due to an unfortunate but entirely understandable administrative error, the professor's entire research budget has been spent on tea, she explains, shuffling her feet awkwardly. Please buy some. Well, I don't remember what tea was worth back home. I'm tempted to buy 2 because that's what we can afford. Yeah, let's go ahead and buy 2. Worst case scenario, we use it all at Port Avon, right? And we're not in desperate need of any other supplies. Ooh, they have bronzewood here. Ah, yeah, see, they don't have fuel, so we will have to be a little cautious. Like, it's not necessarily the case that we can always rebuild our supplies at every port. Alright, let's stop over here by the campfire. 3 figures draped in scholars' robes huddle around a campfire. They are arguing about kings. A banner in the colors of Somerset, London University's most respectable college, gleams in the firelight. As you approach, the discussion dies. One of the scholars, a woman with a fierce expression, stands up. Only scholars should be here. Are you one? Yep, that's how people from academia are. They always want to know if you're technically a scholar. Yes, I am an academic, and I will not have my credentials questioned by students of all people. Unlocked when origin academic is, you studied the practical sciences. Lucky. The scholars quiz you for a few minutes on your publication history. They have heard of one of your articles, and largely approved. The woman is a vituperative classicist. Her companions a dismal paleographer, a forlorn young man, and a feckless theologian, a handsome youth with an easy smile. They explain that they are here to enter the regent's grave, where they believe a sleeping king lies buried. They do not agree as to the king's identity. Unfortunately, the college has cut our funding, the classicist explains. Speak to us if you'd be interested in helping. Well, I'm interested in helping, I'll go with you. I'm not going to pay. The shadow of the barrow falls over the camp. A mournful wail carries on the wind. A cluster of scholars has set up camp on the border of the wood. Their funding gone, they struggle to continue their research into whoever is entombed in the regent's grave. The wind howls in the trees, and the skies threaten rain. Scholars huddle in their tents, brooding over papers and conspiring against colleagues. Well, I guess let's ask what they need. Then we'll have a little individual chats with them. Your inquiry induces a rare spirit of cooperation in the scholars. The last expedition into the woods found a document written in the correspondence. It contained directions to a place called the Steward's Font, the theologian explains. Alas, that is all it needs to break their alliance. The paleographer begins to argue that the steward was a chief position in Charlemagne's household. The classicist makes a pointed reference to Inanna's husband. The theologian's smile is forced. If you could find the font, it would be an immense boon to my work. There are sputters of protestation. Yes, fine. Our work. Okay, I am all about finding the font. I think font used in this way indicates a source of water, right? The incautious driver was talking about a well, wasn't he? Maybe they're the same thing. Let's speak with them individually as well. The divinity student has a dozen bad habits and a firm conviction that St. John the Apostle slumbers in the regent's grave. His tent is the largest of the three. Its interior has been decorated with carpets and throws, which trap the smoke from his hookah. The air is a scented fug. I'm not familiar with that word used that way. The theologian is reclining on cushions, drinking wine. Okay, why do you think that St. John is buried here, in space? The theologian's eyes widen. He is delighted to have been asked that question. Well, according to Legendia Aurea, St. John is sleeping somewhere, waiting for the coming of the Antichrist, which would mean the end of the world. And what is the high wilderness but that? We left the world behind, and the stars are going out, and just after we arrive, we discover a tomb hidden in an ancient wood. He runs a hand through his hair. Sometimes we must have faith. Oh, okay, I find that not a particularly compelling case, honestly. What do you think of your academic colleagues here? The theologian smiles innocently. Yes, we used to know each other very well indeed. This was back at college, before all his passion got sucked out of him. He sighs. Some people can't accept change. Okay, what about the classicist? She's very talented and very funny and not at all nice. And she's furious with me. Why? He won't say. I think I've done enough damage with both of them. He shakes his head. If it weren't for St. John and the academic senate sending me here, I doubt I'd have seen her again. Until she became principal, of course. Alright, so he suspects that she has both the ambition and the ability to take over at the academy. We'll speak to her last. Let's talk to the paleographer. The forlorn student of medieval manuscripts believes that the Emperor Charlemagne lies in the regent's grave. The paleographer's tent is some distance from the rest of the camp and almost in the forest. It is smaller and more worn than the tents of the others. Inside, however, the tent is both warm and sturdy. No rain leaks through the oilskin. The paleographer's inks and reference books and old theater handbills are neatly sorted. The paleographer is at a little wooden desk, conjugating the subjunctive. Well, sure, that's going to take a while. I'm wondering if we're maybe seeing a little bit of that cherries and carrots thing going on here. He's got to know there's no way that Charlemagne is in this tomb. But if you encounter a weird old king, it's like, it's similar enough to Charlemagne. Let's just call it Charlemagne. Alright, let's ask about his theory. Why on earth do you think the Holy Roman Emperor is buried in a forgotten tomb in the high wilderness? It's a little strange, I admit. You certainly won't find this in Einhard. But there are legends that say the great king did not leave his people on death, and instead sleeps in a barrow waiting for their hour of need. He almost smiles. You query his people? I do not forget that we are British. He pauses for effect. But is our queen not of German parentage? Would not her ancestor look out for her, Europe's greatest monarch, as she embarks on her most significant endeavor? No, I think no is the answer to your question. He's not going to hear that, but I think that's the answer. Alright, let's ask about the theologian. The paleographer is lost in thought. When he answers you, he looks rueful. The three of us were at college together in the same year. We were all interested in the theater, but eventually pursued other things. I hadn't seen him in years, until the Traders' Wood funding came up at the Senate. He sniffs. His intellect is second-rate, but his charm is first-class. We can't all be brilliant, he sighs despondently. Alright, what about the classicist? Is this guy... I would say that it seemed like the other dude had a grudging respect for her. Let's see if this guy's the same. A remarkable scholar, and a terrifying Goneril. At college, when she trod the boards... He shakes his head. No, ancient history now, which is her province, not mine. He makes a strong cup of tea for himself, then offers you the same. Bitterness has curdled her. He sips his drink, then grimaces. Ugh, like this milk. Bitterness has curdled this milk. Milk is very vengeful and vindictive. That happens. Alright, let's go and talk to her directly. So, basically, the general idea seems to be that everybody finds her very impressive, but nobody likes her very much. The student of the ancient world is armed with more scorn than a vengeful goddess and a firm conviction that the Sumerian Queen of Heaven sleeps in the regent's grave. Classicist's tent is practical and largely unornamented. The interior is damp from her various walking clothes, which have been scattered across the floor. Old playbills and gaudy costume jewelry hang from the tent ceiling like charms. The classicist is pacing the tent, reading Herodotus while smoking up a storm. There's a lot of mention of their love of the theater here. I wonder if we're supposed to be gathering something important from that. Well, let's ask why she believes an ancient Sumerian deity is buried in a forgotten tomb in the high wilderness. This seems, I guess, maybe less unlikely than the other two? Isn't it obvious? She rolls her eyes. Fine, I'll tell you what I told the academic senate. The high wilderness is heaven, not as the church conceives it, but as the Sumerians did. A place of stars and chaos and impossible powers, in proximity to and affecting our own world, but far, far removed. She pauses for breath. Inanna, the queen of heaven, entered the underworld in search of her husband, and was trapped for a time. That is the myth. This may be the truth. She waves her hand dismissively. Besides, we made some promising discoveries in the wood. Can I know about those, please? No, she's not going to fill me in. Alright, well, I suspect she's not going to speak as glowingly of her comrades as they did of her. A strong opinion. Her invective goes for an hour, and she only remembers to fetch you tea midway through. A liar and a traitor and a fool, she says, spooning in entirely too much sugar. I loathe him. Her hand shakes as she pours. Yeah, that's about what I expected. I think she will be less mad about this guy. A dim view of the paleographer. She laughs scornfully but refuses to be drawn. I will not waste breath on the undeserving. Yeah, okay, about what I thought. Well, let's see about maybe mounting an expedition out into the thing here. We do need to write a report. Probably the parting glade is where we would do that, right? The forest rises behind the station where a few tents have been set up. What might be an owl calls from somewhere in the wood. In the far distance, a great stone barrow rises over the trees. The glade, an oasis of wildflowers and sweet meadow field in the midst of the brooding trees, is where captains meet to do business and bring their ventures to the wood to conclusion. Yeah, I suppose we do have a couple of ventures to the wood to draw to their conclusion. I've arrived at their destination. Whether or not they still wish to be here is another matter entirely. I will encourage the passenger to disembark. Things might have changed while you were in transit. You may not be rewarded as well now. Yeah, I did not do a good job of going fast here. They were on the train for like months. The forest is silent, save for the call of a single bird. One of your crew takes a deep lungful of the musky air. In the distance you hear a flock take flight. A gunshot. A horn. No one will look the settler in the eye. His scowl could shatter glass. We are late, he says. I can only hope the people of this good settlement are less prone to tardiness than you. Here are your wages. I bid you good day. Yeah, that's my bad. I did that. A forbidding tangle of brambles exudes the scent of rotting berries. Huh. Well, okay. XP and cash. We have another passenger to drop off, don't we? Hey, let's write a report. Outside of the Somerset camp, the great forest of bronzewood trees has gone untouched by human hands. Voices sound in the deeps of the woods, forlorn and far away. The wood is vast, and vastly lonely. Okay, let's drop off Percy Blythe. The Lieutenant Commander of the Parsifal has one last mission. You've encountered the academics of the Trader's Wood and learned of the king in the regent's grave, which is what he was talking about, right? He mentioned a king several times. His eyes are golden as though reflecting sunlight. His handshake is weak, and his voice rasps. His periods of lucidity have been intermittent and fewer by the day. He is alert now. Captain, a reward. My medallions. He fumbles at his breast to unpin his stained medals. You are compelled to assist. He clutches your hand before turning to face the darkening wood. At last, we will know. A tremor passes through his body. I should not be here. I should not have been kept from here. He walks slowly into the pale wood. The trees bow as he passes, as though to embrace him. He does not look back. Maybe we should have done a little expedition before doing that? Maybe he could have been helpful? I don't know. Well, we dropped him off. He paid us very well. Those medallions are worth a little something. I guess we can just explore the safe part of the glade here. There is no one else here at present, but there are signs of recent passage. A discarded set of cups from some clandestine picnic. Loose paper hastily torn from a notebook. A few bullets in scorched grass. People come to the glade to conduct meetings as neutral ground, and as a place to think, secluded from the watchful gaze of the high wilderness. Alright, well, let's see about mounting an expedition then. I think it is time. Somerset College has until recently funded expeditions into the forest. Those who returned speak of voices on the wind, of murmurs in uninhabited groves. You must first decide how many crew you wish to take with you. The more you take, the likelier your success, but at a risk of losing them all. Then choose your destination. Okay, so how large is a large one? It's everybody. Okay. A small expedition is 5 crew. But don't we need 6 crew to run the locomotives safely? Where did I see that? Thought there was a thing somewhere. Maybe I'm misremembering? Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering. I thought I remembered seeing a number somewhere on the locomotive screen here that told us the number of crew that had to be present for the train to run smoothly. Oh, here it is. It is reckless to crew the locomotive with fewer than 6 crew. We don't have enough crew, thanks to our relatively crappy, let's just be honest, our crappy boarding conditions. So, Also, a big expedition is risking 2 supplies and 2 fuel. Alright, hold on. We can buy supplies. We have money now. We should probably also buy this bronze wood. It's expensive, and I know sometimes we get bronze wood for free, but we also have a thing that we need a bronze wood for. Like, we know we're going to need it. And we got very paid. We could buy a lot of supplies. So now we could probably afford to undergo that expedition in terms of supplies. I'm a little nervous about how much fuel. Right, so we have a little bit of fuel in a barrel that's currently burning, and then we would have 1 more fuel left over. This seems very dangerous to me. I think what I'm gonna do is think about it for a little while. Probably we're not going to go on this expedition just yet. We should prepare a little bit more. We should show up with more fuel. We should purchase some larger lodging compartments and try to have more people on board so that we don't lose everybody. Or like we could maybe there's other sizes of expedition between 5 people and all people that would be available to us if we had more crew. Yeah, I think this is probably a bad idea. But I'm very interested in doing it, so we shall prepare and return. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when I think we're going to be able to push our personal ambition even further. And we'll see you then.